Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Another edition of BackyardPetPerfection.com. Quick tutorial on how to transplant plants into a little smaller pot. As you can see, we started with the peat pellet right here. We showed you a demonstration in our last video of how we get peat pellets started, and this is the result, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 tomato plants growing in here. Why do we have 3? Well, I just didn't want to put 1 per peat pellet because chances are that 1 is not going to grow, so I put 2 or 3 in there with a greater chance of it growing. And as you can see, we have a success rate of all 3. Now, what do you do at this point? Well, now you can probably take 3 separate pots and put these 3 plants in 3 separate pots, but mostly if you ain't got that much space, which most of my fans here don't, because a lot of them, we're planting in apartments, we're planting in small houses, or just a place where there ain't too much garden space, as you can see, folks. So we got to limit our pots. So what you do is get rid of the weakest link. Boom, just like that. Now, it hurt me to just do that, but you got to save space, ladies and gentlemen. So again, we're going to transfer the peat pellet germination into the small pot, because we're pretty much transitioning them from inside to outside. Yeah, so why am I putting this small one into this one instead of just going ahead and put it in the ground or this big pot here? Well, here's the thing, these are still fragile, so you want to take these out of the, well, not really take them out of the peat pellet, but place them in here in a smaller pot where the rain, or however you wish to water it, as well as whatever plant food that you put in there, can concentrate on this one until it gets a little bigger and stronger. Then you can possibly transplant them into the ground or in a bigger pot, whatever is going to be your permanent home. But I would suggest that you take this, put it in a smaller cup or a small pot like this, wait till it gets bigger in there where it's nice and strong. Then you can take all that and put it in the big pot, or maybe somewhere in the ground there. So with that being said, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. First thing you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a nice little small pot like so. Make sure you clean it out properly, because you don't want any old soil in there, and because that'll breed diseases and germs, what have you. So what am I going to do is partially fill it up with water. Soil. Again, use your favorite soil combination. As you've seen in my last video, I only use topsoil, perlite, peat moss, and worm castings. That is my soil combination, like so. Partially fill it up just like that. Get a little ditch just the size of the peat pellet. Sprinkle a little water down there, loosen it up, because we want to get that peat pellet reintroduced. Well, introduced to soil, not reintroduced, because this is the first time doing that. All right, as you can see, these are cherry tomatoes. I put somebody's name on there because that belongs to them. They want me to grow their tomatoes. Okay. Set it in there again. I'm going to take the strongest one, get rid of the weakest. Now you got a long stem here, it's kind of stringy. So what you can do to alleviate that is dig a little deeper. Put it down in there. You see what I did though before I did all that? Remember that wrapping that was on the peat pellet? I took it off. I took it out. Some people leave it on. They say it's not going to harm it, but I believe it stuns root growth. So I remove it regardless. Now that it's in there, put a little bit more on top. Now, what I would do at this point, now, it's no basis to it, it's just what I call a lucky thing. Before I fill it all the way up, ladies and gentlemen, I take a pinch of Miracle-Gro tomato plant food, sprinkle it right there, just a pinch full. Some people like to put it in water, shake it up and let it blend in water. No, I just sprinkle it in there. And what am I using? Again, the Miracle-Gro that's specifically for tomatoes. Right there. You've seen these boxes in Home Depot or what have you. Just sprinkle a little bit in there before you fill it up. Then commence to filling it up. Now, as you can see, I'm patting it down. I'm patting it down too hard because you don't want to stunt root growth. Okay, just like so. You can see with topsoil, you get these big old twigs. You want to get those out of there because that affects, you know, soil in combination with the roots. All right, now a little bit water to kind of let it blend in with one another a bit more. Introduce that pea pellet to the soil a bit quicker. And there you have it, folks. Just that simple, a transplant. Now what you want to do is get something to write it down here, what it is, what day you planted it also. A good way of IDing what you did. Now, oftentimes when you do a transplant, you'll see a situation where the plants kind of lop over or kind of sink, like if they're dying. They're not dying, ladies and gentlemen. They're just reintroducing themselves into a new batch of soil. And they're just going to take some time to, you know, start standing up again. Usually take a couple of hours, in some cases a day. But so far, so good with this one. This looks great, actually. All right. There you have it, folks. A quick transplant video of how to transplant during the transition from outside to, from inside to outside. Thank you.